Okay. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. Episode 399. We're playing a bit more Rogue Legacy 2. Not that I've spent a great amount of time this week playing it, but you know, I haven't been playing a whole lot otherwise, so might as well. I did pick up Salt and Sacrifice. Which is the Salt and Sanctuary sequel. I heard good things about it. It's not really that attractive of a game. I didn't care for the art style in Salt and Sanctuary. Don't care for the art style in Salt and Sacrifice. I think it's like a husband and wife team or something like that. And I think one of them does the like programming and one of them does the art or something like that. I seem to recall that. And honestly, that kind of explains it. If that is the case. It's just like, you know, husband and wife or something. You're a programmer, I'm an artist, we should make a game together. And it's like, well, yep, I am a programmer. And it's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? You're not gonna just, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. It's obviously like functional, and some people probably like the art style, but it's got a distinctly like deviant art feel to it, which is, it's not like a deal breaker or anything. I mean, Fell Seal had a really deviant art feel to it, and that was a great game. Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's okay. It didn't immediately grab me as much as, say, this game did. I think it's trying to emulate like Dark Souls combat a bit too much in 2D. So there's like this big emphasis on rolling, and I don't really like rolling in 2D. Whereas this game is just like good arcadey kind of, you know, 2D. I mean, imagine if like Hollow Knight combat was slower and you had to roll through enemy attacks and stuff. It was just like, that wouldn't be better. It's a different style. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like, I don't know. You don't have to. I mean, you could build, I think, tankier, but that has its own issues, so I don't know. The point is, it didn't immediately grab me as much as this did or has. I mean, look at this. We're fucking flying right now. Flying. Another game that I picked up this week. Shit. Because I heard good things about it. is the new Warhammer 40k game, of which I still couldn't tell you the name of it. I think there's Chaos in the title. Chaos Bane, maybe? It might be Chaos Bane. But yeah, I heard enough people saying good things about it. I'm like, you know what? I should check it out. I really like XCOM. They're saying it's 40k XCOM. Why not check it out? And yeah, I'll be damned if it's not like the most XCOM 40k game to ever exist. And it's... I don't want to quite say it's the best 40k game I've played, because I haven't played that many. And Space Marine was really a lot of fun. But yeah, so far it's been shit. So far it's been very good. Because basically it just copies a lot of stuff from XCOM. Not everything. There are differences, and that also makes it interesting. But, you know, if you've played XCOM, like the new ones, you could jump right into this one and be fine. You know, it's like a lot of the stuff is just exactly the same. The cover system, you know, the kind of the action point system, shooting and reloading. Although there isn't actually like a chance to hit anymore. They seem to have removed that entirely, which is wild. I couldn't believe it for a long time. No jumping, no problem. They seem to have removed chance to hit. So if you can see the target and they're within... What? Jesus. If you can see the target and they're within range, you shoot them. The only thing that really differs and why cover matters is that it lowers the amount of damage you do. And I think probably that's a better system, because you know exactly what's going to happen when you pull the trigger, more or less. I mean, there's crit chances, but, you know, you're never going to, like, rely on crits. And then there's, like, this whole willpower system, where all of your Space Marines have a certain amount of willpower. And I think they regenerate one whenever something dies. Or whenever they kill something, I don't know exactly. And you can spend willpower to, like, activate special psychic abilities, or to enhance certain, like, attacks. So say you're shooting at some fucking demon, and you would normally do like 4 damage, you can then spend a willpower to make it do like 6 damage instead. So that's a really cool system. There's also like armor that just shrugs off attacks and regenerates at the start of that character's turn. So you can really go beefcake with armor and be more of like a tank with like Terminator armor and stuff like that. There's a lot of like little cool changes. Overwatch is very like short range directional stuff. But it automatically, like, you get as many Overwatch shots as you had action points when you initiated the Overwatch. So you could just line up and just stand there and do 3 Overwatch shots into the oncoming horde, which is cool. And overall, just like the whole 40K theme and like the audio and like, you know, everything that makes it 40K is done really well. And just you feel like fucking badasses. Like when you're stomping around, it's just like boom, boom, boom. You know, it's like all that kind of stuff because everyone's in like, you know, Space Marine armor and Terminator armor and shit like that, and it's just like, yeah, goddamn. And then like when you're going into a building, if there's a door, your character will just kick open the door, and it just like fucking completely shatters open. And the slow-mo when you're throwing grenades. Oh, and grenades are so much cooler than XCOM. Because it actually causes the enemies to, like, scatter. Like, their bodies get thrown around. So it actually moves their physical position after a grenade explosion, which is awesome. There's all sorts of, like, little environmental stuff that you can activate. Like, you can tackle, like, pillars and knock them over to do a big line damage to a group of enemies. There's all sorts of explosive crates and, you know, all these little things around. It's, like, shockingly well made considering most 40K games. And so far I've just been playing it while I've been working out on the treadmill. So I've just been reserving it for that. And yeah, it's been pretty damn fun. From the looks of it, it doesn't have that extensive of, like, a tech tree or, like, skill trees for all your different Space Marines. So it doesn't seem like that massive in scope. I mean, maybe more will be shown later on or unlocked or something like that. Right now, it doesn't seem that massive in scope. So I'm hoping that, like, more people start paying attention to it and like modding communities pick up on it, because it really, like, we don't have an XCOM 3, and I think this is the next best thing. So yeah, that's been pretty cool. Right. So this week on this channel, we had Elden Ring and Fallout 3. This next week, we're going to have Elden Ring and Fallout 3. Yeah, I had to really just stop recording RimWorld. It's like a sickness, and if I didn't stop, it would really just run out of control and be ridiculous. As it is, I have 80 hours worth of RimWorld to upload now. 80 hours. And you know that at some point after I upload all that, okay, my game just froze. Oh, that's delightful. Okay. You know that at some point after I upload all those 80 hours more of RimWorld, I'm going to get addicted to RimWorld again down the line, and we're probably going to record another 80 hours because I'm just going to become obsessed again. So, you know, there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. And that's not even counting, like, getting back into Cataclysm seriously and recording hours and hours of that. So, you know, it's a sickness. So I don't know. I might have to just start uploading a RimWorld video every day just as an extra. Because I'm very conflicted. Like, I want to... I like that it cut to Tabletop Simulator in the background. I was also messing around with that. Hold on. There it is. I'm conflicted because on the one hand, I don't want to bog you guys down. And I don't want to have this just stupidly long backlog. But on the other hand, it's like, I like to just record. I mean, that's my main hobby. I like to just do it. Even if I don't upload, really. There are videos I've recorded I know I'm not uploading. I mean, I always record with the intention to upload, but... So, it's like, I'm holding myself back from recording things because it's like, oh no, I got all these things I got to upload. I shouldn't record more. And that's like, you know, it takes away from my personal kind of enjoyment with the hobby of recording. So I'm really conflicted. It's a first world problem, to be sure. So I don't know. Yesterday we did Two Brothers Play RimWorld. You know, I don't think attendance for that is ever gonna be top notch, and I don't think post-stream viewership for that is ever gonna be top notch. But we both enjoy it, so it's like, whatever. I mean, who cares? So I think we're continuing that next week, as far as we discussed. And that's pretty much it. Expect more Elden Ring and Fallout 3. Over on the Exploring series, I released a video on... Don't tell me. I think. Queen's Gambit. That's what it was. Yep. 001 Queen's Gambit. I think that did decently well. I didn't really read many comments on that one, so I don't know how people really liked it, but based on the like ratio and the view counts, it seemed to have done all right. Yeah, flight's pretty OP in this game, I gotta say. And this week I worked on SCP-4547 Exterminans in the Ad Astra per Aspera canon. where they find this planet just utterly devastated from anomalies. And the results are perhaps more surprising than you think. Good little SCP. Not that little, 30 minutes or so, but yeah. Pretty simple one to put together. And then next week, I think it's the Sarcasm one. I put a new Sarkic one on there that's I mean, it's not like major, like end world, world-ending, horrific abomination, 610, or, kind of Sarcasm stuff. It's just a Sarkic SCP. But yeah, people were just like, oh shit, Sarcasm, oh my god, I gotta have it. So yeah, Sarcasm's pretty popular. This is where I die, for sure. Fuck, 107 damage. Oh. All right then. Alrighty then. I actually did an interview this week. I was interviewed, of course. I would not interview anyone else. That would be wild. No, I was interviewed this week. Guy by the name of Sean Saxum interviewed me for some sort of SCP-related podcast. I'd only really done it because DJ Cactus had also done an interview for the guy. And so, good enough for Cactus, good enough for me. And he had initially, I think, asked me earlier this year, and things were just a little too hectic for me at the time. But then he followed up this week, and I was like, you know what, sure. So, pretty simple. He just, it was a Discord call, very simple. And, god damn it. And I get on the Discord call with him. And he's like, oh, do you have a way of recording your audio? And, I said no. Because I was not on my work computer, so I don't really... The only thing I use for recording on this computer now is OBS. I don't have, like, Audacity or Reaper or anything like that. And he's like, oh, well, usually I have the guest also record their audio. It's like, okay, I mean, you could have mentioned that prior, I suppose, but alright. So I just quick grabbed Audacity, and in the end my audio was not great. Like, it's not going to sound great because it was just like I downloaded Audacity and I hit record and that was it, you know. I would say that the guy probably doesn't have, like, a future in interviewing people. Not to be mean or anything. And he certainly could, you know, if he keeps working at it or something like that. But, you think about, like, the great sort of talk show hosts or interviewers, you know, newscasters that interview people. You know, you think about all the great ones like that and how they conduct interviews. You know, it's like a conversation. That's how it's kind of meant to feel. It's like a conversation between the interviewer and the interviewee, where they, you know, they come in with their questions and all that, but they're also ready to adapt to the nature of the interview and the responses and things like that. It's not just cut and dry, because anyone can do that. Anyone can just read questions off a paper and then just go to the next question after the response. Like, you know, a monkey could do that. And also the nature of the questions asked. You know, you want to get some interesting questions in there that are going to provoke an interesting answer. So, you know, it was mainly just like he had his list of questions. And then I answered them. And then afterwards, he would just be like, okay, interesting. And then he would go to the next question. And most of the questions he asked, I've already answered multiple times in other places and things like that. Which, you know, that's just the nature of the thing. You know, you're always going to have repeat questions. How did you get into SCP? And how did this become your career? And blah, 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 you know, the usual stuff. I mean, there were a couple interesting ones in there that I've either, like, never really gone into or I haven't gone into recently with some fresh perspective. Or, you know, just sort of more recent developments in the SCP community. I really expected a question about, like, the animation channels and sort of, like, my thoughts on animation channels. Because for me, and, like, my career currently, where I'm at, I mean, animation channels are obviously a big point of discussion. It's very obviously the biggest competition to my line of work, and it's something that sort of a lot of people are big fans of, a lot of people are really against. I mean, it's a, you know, an interesting topic of discussion. The fact that it wasn't asked at all, again, I point to the fact that sort of just kind of a dry interview, I guess. But me as the interviewee, I can't be like, hey, aren't you going to ask me about this? Just is what it is. So yeah, I mean, I don't really tend to do interviews or anything like that. Just because I don't think like how I make videos or anything like that is that interesting. How I pick which topics to do, and that's not that interesting. And, you know, most times I think for stuff like that, it's like I'm doing these people a favor of like publicity. Like, they get to throw my name on it, which is obviously when you have like 500 subscribers, you know, getting an interview with someone with 800,000 some subscribers is a big deal. And I don't mind doing people favors, you know, for stuff like that. If you ask me to do like a little recording, I'm glad to do a recording. But this was an hour and 20-minute interview. It's obviously a significant amount of time. So, yeah. Whatever. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I don't want to sound too negative or anything. And, I didn't have, like, a horrible time or anything. Oh, damn it. I guess that's about it, really. We had session 2 of Kingdom Death. Went alright. We definitely had a couple more deaths. You know, it gets... Jesus. God. Damn it. Hunted the Screaming Antelope a couple times. And, yeah, there was some quick, messy deaths. Some decapitations and stuff. That's Kingdom Death, baby. I told them all at the very start, do not get attached to any character. It can happen quick. So I think we're playing again this Thursday. I think we're facing the Butcher next. The forced encounter against the Butcher. The Butcher tends to be where everything falls apart, because that tends to be like a total wipe. And then you're just kind of fucked. Because it's tough to regain from that spot. If you can do the Butcher with no deaths, I think you're sitting right as rain. But, you know, it's been a fun time. It's always interesting with Kingdom Death, with the different events that can happen. Should be playing Magic again tomorrow. I'm putting together another Magic cube. I'm just doing the Magic Online Vintage Cube, which is like the cube that Wizards of the Coast like actively updates or whatever. It seems pretty solid. It's like 540 cards and shit. Yeah, it seems like a pretty interesting one that's kept updated and modern enough. And today we went through the process of ordering our event tickets for Gen Con. That was a nightmare. We had pretty much planned out what we wanted, which was 3 events, pretty much. One was Watch the Skies, the mega game with like 40 some people that take 6 hours. If you've never seen Shut Up and Sit Down's couple videos on Watch the Skies, go check that out. I've yet to play it. It seems amazing fun. Just this big, massive, like, RPG experience that's completely freeform with an alien invasion and stuff like that. Controlling different countries and heads of state and stuff. I feel like if I ever do get to play, it's going to just be anarchy. Like, I'm going to be off assassinating presidents and taking hostage. You know, I'm like... I'll probably get kicked out, essentially. But that's okay. The second event was an escape room, which we always try to do every Gen Con, just one escape room, because it's something to do that's fun. And then third was a Dungeon Crawl Classics one-shot, because we wanted to try another RPG one-shot experience, and a lot of the RPGs there are either Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, Pathfinder, or like there's one event of an RPG that you've never heard of and never played, like the My Little Pony RPG or something, you know. That's basically it. There isn't a lot of other stuff that's just like popular in the RPG community, but not really that popular. There was no Dungeon World events. There was no Shadow of the Demon Lord events. There was no Blade in the Dark events. I mean, just a lot of these games that we really like or would be willing to play again, none of that was there. But I did see a lot of Dungeon Crawl Classic events, like 90 of them. And so I'm like, okay, we're all familiar with it. We've all played it, so we don't have to learn the rules. Well, let's just do that. So that was the plan. 3 events. That's it. Essentially, we got into none of those. We got a couple tickets for a couple of them. My friend and his little group that ordered separately for Watch the Skies, they got into Watch the Skies, the 3 of them. I'm very jealous. So it was just kind of a disaster. It was nightmarish. You'd think we would know by now how to properly do this, but we don't. It's basically just like first click, you know. You put all these events on your wish list, and then at 11 a.m. this morning, you click process your wish list. And thousands of other people simultaneously are clicking process your wish list. And so it's just a matter of like who clicks first, who processes first, whatever. That's who gets into the good events. Fortunately, there are a lot of events at Gen Con. So after the initial nightmare, we sort of reconvened. And we did manage to get into another escape room and another Dungeon Crawl Classics event at different times. So, at least for the group of like 4 of us that are kind of together, we got into a couple events. Really want to Watch the Skies, but, you know, that's the way it goes. Next time we do this, we're going to all try as one big group to try to get into Watch the Skies, because our thought was like, okay, we'll separate it into 2 small groups, because we'll have better chances of getting like 3 tickets or something like that, rather than 6 or 7. But that's bullshit. Don't do that, because all it matters is just who gets in first, who gets the roll of the dice to process the wish list first. That's all it comes down to. It doesn't matter if that person that gets in quick is ordering 1 ticket or 30 tickets. It's just a roll of the dice. So next time we're just going to all try and order tickets for everybody and see how that goes. But we are planning on, like, I'm bringing a couple of my magic cubes, and we're going to try to host like our own event for our big group of 8. And we're going to try to do like a big 8-person cube event. Because everyone involved in the group is at least familiar with Magic, so that should be a lot of fun. And either way, you know, Gen Con's always good. People watching and buying some new board games and playing them, and looking at all the hot chicks and diva outfits and stuff. You know, things like that. It's always a good time. should be good. Alright, I think that's about it then. I'm still kind of undecided about uploads for this channel and exactly what to do. You might start seeing like a RimWorld video every day just to start chewing through it. Because there's just so many things I have recorded and I want to record, and it just never ends. It just never ends. And if the backlog just continues to get larger and larger and larger, eventually I have to imagine my hard drive will just like disintegrate. And then I'll lose it all, and then it'll just be like, well, problem solved. Now we can just start recording fresh. I mean, that would solve the issue, just probably not in the best way. And yes, I keep all the recordings on a single hard drive. That shows you, like, how kind of unattached I am to them, like, as part of my hobby. Like, it's not essential that they get uploaded. If it was, there would be redundancy, but there isn't. So, but I do want to upload them because I think people find enjoyment in it. So, you know, I don't want to not upload. But I also don't want to overwhelm. It's very tricky. But either way, for now, my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.